Mark. I co-host the movie Trivia Schmodown, and I'm here for an Ask Me Anything at the Collider Studios. I didn't wear sleeves because it might get hot and sweaty and dirty in here. So very excited to be hanging out with you guys. Probably going to wait until we actually get viewers is what we usually do.
Well, it usually starts at 1:45, but you can start with the pre-submitted ones because
start with the pre-submitted ones.
That won't change.
Ah, we got a viewer. Never mind. Now it's on. Now the show starts. Hi, viewer. How are you? All right, kids. So I have some pre-submitted questions, but in the meantime, you guys can go ahead and start submitting stuff that I'm going to answer. I'm going to get through as many as I possibly can. I talk fast. I have a lot of opinions. Here we go. First one from Nicholas Normandin says, I hear you talk about Magic the Gathering once in a while. Do you still play? I don't still play. I can be coerced into a match, a game occasionally, especially when I'm hanging out with my brother. If we both have decks, then we will play. But I have not gotten into it in a while as far as actually competing. But some friends of mine you probably know of and have heard of and are fans of keep trying to talk me into it. So maybe I'll get back in the arena one time. But used to be pretty good. Had a sweet land destruction deck. Thomas Adder. Next up, what's your favorite, funniest moment this season from behind the desk? The funniest thing that happened behind the desk. Wow. Trying to think of something offhand that you guys have seen. Funniest thing behind the desk. What's the funniest thing that happened? Brienne's got an answer. What's your answer?
My thing is, it was a joke. Like, the internet wasn't working. And so
the internet wasn't working.
This was between Team Action versus DC Movie News. And Ben says, I got a hotspot you can use. Hey, I got a hotspot you can use. And Mark Drago goes, Ben's never found a hot spot in his life. Oh,
that's good.
And I was dying.
That's good. Nothing I have said will top that. So there's your answer. All right, next up is Joaquim Skajin, and he says, if you had been a part of the Anarchy tournament, who would you have wanted to be teamed up with? Ooh, that's tough, man. Besides Christian, I think I'd probably take Ethan. Ethan Irwin is a pretty good partner. It'd also be fun to be partners with Stacy because, you know, we had the rivalry. Well, she beat me. So it'd be fun to team up with her. I think our knowledge complements each other's pretty well. So either one of them might take. But I'd be happy. I'll step into the ring against anybody. Oliver, next up, how do you prepare for the matches you're calling? I think you're amazing on the mic. He even likes, the next question comes in the categories of comedies when I do the laugh. I really can't tell if people like when I do the laughter in comedies, but I'm going to keep doing it, so get used to it. As far as how I prepare for the matches, well, the big thing that you want to do is take a look at all the questions in round one, the categories that we have on the wheel for round two, and look at round three or round 4 and 5 if we're doing a title match. But I don't really prepare anything else as far as like what I'm going to say or what the comments are going to be or how I'm going to open or close the match. I just kind of let that all be improv to some degree, but I just want to make sure the questions are right because I want the game flow to be as smooth as possible. You know, there's probably going to be some challenges anyway or some sort of controversy, but I want to limit that as much as possible so we can all have fun. All right, next up is Gilberto Yanez, and he says, do you want a rematch against Christian? If you could play anybody in the league right now, who would you choose and how badly would you destroy them, KO or TKO? I would love a rematch against Christian. I mean, I'll show up every day and play Christian. So I think if we did play each other every day, it'd probably be me winning 6 and him winning 4. But he's got the first one against me. So I need a rematch soon, but I'd like to do a rematch in like more specific categories. That's what's really seeming like fun to me. Hopefully we can do that in 2019 where we can just do Encino Man. I think I'd wreck Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser and Sean Astin in Encino Man. Get them 3 as a team against me. I still like my odds. All right, next up, Michael Campbell, good patron member, by the way. What has been your favorite match to call this season and why? Whew, boy, I'll be honest with y'all. They all kind of run together. Like I have so much fun doing it. I can't think of one match that stands out right now because we're still in the heat of the season. But a lot of the ones you guys are going to see coming up soon is some of my favorites of the year for sure. It's been a blast. Rob McDonald says, I hope you continue to support a live Schmodown match here in Toronto because it would be epic. Yes, love going to Toronto. I'm going to be doing stand-up back there again soon, so I'm in. And he says, I always liked your idea to have a music trivia Schmodown match. If this happens, who would you want to face and why? I'll take anybody on in the world of music. What I think would be fun is do a Beatles trivia match between me, Scott Nance, Ken Knapsack, and I think Roka's a pretty big Beatles fan. Whoever else says they're a Beatles fan. And obviously, if we were able to put together a Van Halen match, nobody's even coming close. Sorry, you're not coming close. Okay, let's Jesse Hall says, have you tried the new Magic the Gathering Arena video game? If not, it's free and fun. Give it a shot. It would be cool to randomly get a match against Mark. I used to play the early iteration of Magic the Gathering online. It's something I got into a lot, but I've not played Arena in a minute. So if I get back into playing Magic, Arena might be the gateway that does it. So we'll see if I ever value Magic the Gathering online or in person more than Naps. Naps are pretty sweet though. Helen Ledwith is next up. And Helen says, do you think there is room for some casual fun in the Schmodown? Things can get very competitive and intense at times on both the set and on social media. Don't I know it, Helen? Is there room for some chilling out? Don't I wish it, Helen? Like occasionally gather a few players to stitch personas, just randomly pick questions from a hat, and just have fun playing and talking movies. I'm up for that. I think it might be fun to have maybe a different division or league where it's just a little more casual and everybody's not taking each other so seriously and yelling and screaming and stuff. But, you know, you got to remember the Schmodown is predicated not just on movie trivia, but also on the sports entertainment angle of it. But for me personally, if I'm doing like bar trivia, that's what it sounds like you're asking about. I've done improvised Schmodown matches when I go on the road sometimes. So it's fun to do stuff like that from time to time and just shed all the other stuff and just have fun with random questions. So the randomness is something that I like, put it that way. So those are the pre-asked questions. So now let's take a look. Reefton is up first from y'all, and he says, ever considered to play in the Star Wars League? Initially, yeah. I mean, if you go back, the first or second episode of the Schmoes Know podcast that Harloff and I ever did was Ken Knapsack was our special guest, and it was him versus me in Star Wars trivia, and he beat me. And watching what those guys are able to do now, seeing this year unfold in the world of, and really going back to last year, the spectacular with the Star Wars match, I'm good at Star Wars. I ain't that good. I mean, I'm asking questions at the desk and I have no idea what the answer is. And when I say the answer, I've never heard of it. So I'm good at Star Wars from a, you know, fan perspective, but the people that are playing that right now are experts. I can't get near them. All right. Jackson Barber says, oh, hi, Mark. Hello. Cute doggy. Jay Goldeneye says, baby carrots, what is your favorite part of being behind the scenes of the Schmodown as a creator? It's just fun seeing a bunch of, you know, cool people hang out. It's fun to see all of the fans and the competitors and the, you know, the luminaries in the world of Schmodown just all show up to the studio or to a live event and just all hang out. It's fun. I mean, I'm usually running around. Sometimes I get a little antisocial / social anxiety. So I, you know, hide in the cave and make sure the questions are okay. But it's just cool to see something that brings a lot of people together. So it's fun having all these personalities here. Grayson Rodriguez says, do you feel anyone can take over for me and Harloff on the desk one day? Yeah, I mean, it's a monkey could do our jobs, but I wouldn't want it. I mean, I love announcing the matches. So I'd like to keep doing it as long as y'all will have me, as long as you keep letting me laugh after I say comedies. Jay Goldman says, do you ever secretly want to spin from the pegs? No, I want everything to run as smooth as possible, and that includes the spin of the wheel. The pegs have been through a lot this year, so grab it by the wheel, not the pegs. Tom Addard says, any favorite British comedians? Ton. Love British comedy. I love the spin on it. I mean, currently there's probably a lot of names that I don't know that are coming up across the pond right now, but I actually listened to Marin's interview with both John Cleese and Eric Idle, and it's fantastic hearing what their experiences were before, during, and after Monty Python. I mean, Monty Python is such a huge influence on me, and so many great comedies you see today are rooted in Monty Python, and it still holds up. The Holy Grail is the funniest movie I've ever seen. So big fan of a lot of British comedy. Jimmy Carr, saw him at the Comedy Store recently too. So he's a pro. He's really good. All right, let's do Jesse Hall says, do you ever book shows in Virginia when you make it home? We'd love to come see you live. I would love for you to come see me live, Jesse Hall. In Virginia, as of right now, I don't have anything this December. I'm just going to go home and chill and relax and probably watch all the comments roll in on the spectacular. But soon I'll be back in definitely the DMV area. And then, you know, when I go home, like the closest comedy club venue setting would probably be Virginia Beach or Richmond. So I'll see if I can get back there to one of those places for you in 2019. Dave Dranow says, can we see a Mark Ellis versus Ben Bateman Magic the Gathering match? You probably see it. I probably wouldn't agree to it because Ben is like up on Magic. He still plays it all the time. Ben travels to conventions and like tournaments and competes in them and stuff. And I haven't done that in a long time. So I'm kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, just roaming around the Dune Sea where he's like off doing this. So can't see myself winning against Ben Bateman in a Magic the Gathering match. If it's just revised edition, maybe I could compete. Grayson says, when challenges occur, who contributes to the ruling and who gets final say? The way it's played out recently is, first of all, when a challenge is issued, sometimes we do take a break and we'll all like huddle, and then other times we'll just make the ruling on the spot. Recently, it's just worked out to where I feel that I'm the most level-headed in the room on that particular match or during that particular day, because let's face it, everybody at Collider works harder and longer than I do. So I might be the freshest as far as the ability of free thinking. And I like making rulings. I actually like rules. They're fun to break. But I like, you know, when I watch NFL games, I get frustrated with the refs a lot, but I'm interested in how they make calls, what they're looking for, that kind of stuff. So it might just be because I'm such a sports nerd that I like watching that aspect of it too. But I feel pretty confident in myself to be able to rule fairly on a challenge. You got to go by the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law, but you can always rule a challenge one way. And then in the off season, we can do a rule summit, which I hope we have, and say, okay, well, how should this play out if this was next season? Do we want it to play out the same way? So we're constantly looking to tinker. But as far as implementing new rules, I think that should only happen in the off season. Tom Zambino says, hey, Mark, what's your favorite sports moment you saw live? Wow. There's been a lot of them. Saw the Redskins beat the Lions to go to the Super Bowl in the 1991 season. That was pretty spectacular because they were just a machine that year. One of my first memories ever is being at Memorial Stadium where the Baltimore Orioles used to play before they moved into Camden Yards, back when the Orioles were, you know, a competitive professional team. And I was sitting on my dad's shoulders, and I remember him just saying, if this guy, talking about Jim Traber, if he gets a hit, we win the game. Next pitch, it's a single. I believe Joe Orslak's the one that scored, and we won. And I was like, oh, great. This is how life's going to work out. Good question, bud. Let's see. JG Goldeneye says, since you tour all the time with comedy, what would be your pick for a live event in the future? I'll go anywhere. I mean, I'm rightfully so. I'm the last cog in that machine as far as where to go or why to go there, because I've been to a lot of great places, you know, on this continent, on other continents, that I think would be great for a Schmoedown. But I let everybody else kind of figure their schedules out and where they are able to go financially, schedule-wise, because I'm always able to pick up and just go to New York or go to Chicago or go to Atlanta or go to wherever else. So maybe just gave y'all some hints there. Let's see, what else are y'all talking about? Thanks for all the questions, by the way. These are great. Grayson Rodriguez says, who's the funniest Schmoedown competitor? Ethan's pretty funny. Ethan's a sneaky funny. Overtly funny. I thought Lon Harris is pretty hysterical when he plays. I mean, that's being funny on purpose. Some of the competitors, take it real seriously. And that makes me laugh. But as far as doing comedy on purpose, watching Lon and JT play off each other, that amuses me a great deal. Jackson Barber says, what has been the most WTF moment in my opinion, from the Schmodown. So what's been the most, what the fuck just happened? For this season, probably the David O. Russell thing was a tough situation. That was a tough ruling to make. I feel like I made the right ruling, but that was a tough one. So as far as WTF moment, like ever, it was probably still Draco wiping the slate clean at the first free-for-all, because that was nuts. Him just seeing all these great competitors in Draco at that time, a relatively new entry into the league, just casting them all aside. That was pretty fun to see. Dylan Camacho says, what has been the hardest challenge you've had to call or rule on? Probably David O. Russell. Trying to think if there was another one that was really like, it could have gone either way, but that was the toughest one. Again, by the letter of the law, we judge it on the phonetic pronunciation, and you just got to get the letters right. So that's the rule. Now, will that change going into next year? I think it should, but I can't make up rules on the spot. I think that's more unfair to anybody is me implementing a new rule because I'm going with how I feel at the time. You got to look at what the rule says, and that's what I did. All right. Arjun Kishore says, what specialty match do you want to play in, like a Star Wars match or a Jurassic Park match? I thought I wanted to play in the Jurassic Park match, and then I announced it. I don't know that much. Jeez. Excuse me. For a specialty match in the world, like something that's realistic, that's not as tight as Encino Man, although it might be realistic to actually do a Young Guns match because there's so many huge fans of the movies here. I could definitely compete in a Young Guns match. As far as like another movie, Die Hard would be a fun one. I'll do a Die Hard specialty match. Got to watch the last two movies again, but if the focus is on the first three, which it should be, I think I can take pretty much anybody in a Die Hard specialty match. Jesse Hall, very burning question here, says, what's your favorite snack cracker? Jesse goes for Veggie Thins or chicken and a biscuit. Chicken and a biscuit. I remember chicken and a biscuit. I try not to eat crackers too much. I don't need any more bread, carb / gluten than I already drink. But if I had to go with a snack cracker, I'd probably say the old staple from the Sunshine Biscuit Company, Cheez-Its. Love me some Cheez-Its. And Triscuits are good once in a while if you like slicing the roof of your mouth. I make myself laugh just occasionally. Okay. Let's see. Let's close it up here. Thank you guys again for the questions. These are all great. Tom Zambino is going to close us out here. And he says, if you could have any category, movie, music, or not, Schmodown match, what would it be and why? Any category of all time would be Van Halen trivia. Super Bowl trivia actually might be better. I'm a little lean on the more recent Super Bowls, but if you give me a movie trivia Schmodown that's just Super Bowl facts, I'm gonna crush anybody that walks into that. I'm gonna decimate them. And Van Halen is like not even fair for anybody else. But Harloff, Jesse Hall says Harloff seemed open to Harloff and Dewberry versus Ellison Makuga in a drunk exhibition. Are you in? Why not? Why not? It's got to be better than the After Hours show. So I'm in. And with that, I actually do have to run to attend to some Schmodown duties, but I really appreciate y'all being fans of the league like that. That means the world to us. It's still shocking how many there are, how passionate y'all are. So keep it up. Always feel free to reach out if I can do anything better, if we can do anything better. Do not hesitate to let us know. And I look forward to coming back on another Ask Me Anything soon because you guys were just too kind to me today. You can be a little meaner next time. All right. Love y'all. See you soon. Carrots out.